I had, I spent it in good company. And of all the harm that ever I done, alas, it was to none but me. And all I've done, for want of wit, to memory now I can't recall. So fill to me the parting glass. Good night and joy be with you all. Oh, of all the comrades that ever I had, they are sorry for my going away. And of all the sweethearts that ever I had, they would wish me one more day to stay. But since it falls unto my lot that I should rise and you should not, I gently rise and I softly call, good night and joy be with you all.
Who was Ronnie Drew?
Who was Ronnie Drew?
For the best part of half a century, Ronnie Drew entertained the people of Ireland and the world as a singer, an actor, a storyteller, and a legendary character. He achieved international recognition and success as a performer, but for many he remained, above all, the quintessential Dubliner.
They were distinctively Dublin. They were associated with Dublin. They were part of Dublin. Ronnie was part of Dublin.
Ronnie's appeal could cross the generations as well as other frontiers.
Well, he was a man, you know, he was a man, you know, there was no right about that, yeah?
I found him a most generous character.
A rough exterior, but really kind in heart, you know.
Even to the very end, he'd still be my hero.
If you line them up like the hardest men in show business or the hardest men in rock and roll, just think of all the most obnoxious, swaggering rock singers, and it's a girls' choir next to Ronnie Drew.
It's hard now to imagine what the traditional music scene was like in Ireland 50 years ago.
There was almost a kind of an apology for singing old ballads, and they were presented in a very genteel, kind of parlour-like setting.
Traditional Irish music, certainly as presented by RTE, tended to be reserved and staid and extremely polite.
They were all kind of very nice kind of people, that they had jobs and they had, you know, played fiddle in the evening and, you
Civil
know,
servants.
very nice people, but weren't really taking any chances, you know.
Ronnie introduced a voice that was not only original, but shocking.
And the first time I heard his voice, I was totally shocked. I couldn't believe that a human being could render a voice like this.
As down the glen came McAlpine's men, with their shovels slung behind them. Was in the pub that
His voice has been described as the sound of coal being scraped across the floor.
they sweated blood, and they washed down the mud with pints and a quarts of beer. And now we're on the road again with McAlpine's Fusilier.
I think it was something that he discovered he had naturally when he opened his mouth to speak or to sing. This is the sound that came out.
When you heard him, you'd think he was about 7 foot.
No money if you stop for rain. McAlpine's God was a well-built hod. Your shoulders cut a bit and seared. And woe to he went to look for.
It's the voice of a nation, and all the road miles that nation has. It's all our anguish, all the melancholy. It's not all explained by the rain and the Brits. But it's all in there. It's all in his voice.
What Horseface said when he saw him dead, well, it wasn't what the rich called rare.
The problem with the ballad tradition can be sentimentality. His just sort of stoicism in the face of it, not running with the motion, but actually countering the motion. That's his power as a singer.
When work the sweat has had a me bet, when the Russians shake and fall.
This voice that he sang in, yeah, it was like he was singing to you, like he was talking to you, you know what I mean?
I've grafted hard, and I've got to make hard, and many a gangers missed across my ears. If you play to your life, don't join, my God, with McAlpine, you believe.
Ronnie's first group had been formed in a Dublin pub.
I think it was Ronnie that invited me over to a place called the Donohoe, because there wasn't much at the time in that side of town.
Back in the early 60s, O'Donohoe's, like most other Dublin pubs, did not permit singing or music to be played on its premises. But that was all about to change.
And one night, Barney McKenna and myself asked Paddy O'Donohoe, it was Christmas, around Christmas, could we play one song? Just one song, you know. And it hasn't stopped since.
And can you remember what that one song was?
I can't actually, to tell you the truth, but
Could you not make up something?
yeah, but probably Finnegan's Wake.
Yeah.
Right, Finnegan's Wake, okay.
Yeah.
Good.
So it was Finnegan's Wake.
Wake, yeah.
Whack full of dough when you dance to your partners around the floor with your trollers shake. Isn't it the truth? I tell you, lots of fun at Finnegan's Wake. One morning Tim was rather full.
Ronnie's ballad group soon recruited another extraordinary and charismatic singer who had just returned from London.
See, I already met Luke at the International Bar just after he'd come home from England. And we got into conversation and kind of hit it off. I said to Luke, we go up to Donohoe's, you know, come up and have a drink.
Ronnie's group began to attract attention, perhaps as much for their attitude and appearance as their music.
And Mrs. Finnegan called.
Soon they were in demand all over the city.
Cake, then piped the
We, generally speaking, weren't looking for work or looking for, we had no ambition to be.
What were you looking for?
We were all pretty much labelled.
Looking for attention?
Well, no, I don't think, I think...
Or looking for friendship? What were you looking
yeah,
for?
we were probably looking to belong to something, I suppose.
Yes, exactly.
And
looking to fit.
Looking to fit somewhere, because like all my life I'd never fitted in anywhere, you know. And so we used to play there, you know, meet, and then it just became a thing we did, you know.
There was no formal leader of the band, but Ronnie usually appeared as its front man.
Always well dressed, right? He mastered that sort of like, you know, like good suit, like, you know, trim beard and all the rest of it, yeah? And then, like, he looked like he slept in his dustbin for a few minutes. And the rest of them looked like they'd slept in dustbins all night, you know? Because you always look smarter than the rest of them, you know what I mean? Yeah? He was always the front man, yeah?
The band was still called the Ronnie Drew Ballad Group, something that made Ronnie feel somewhat uneasy.
Ronnie didn't somehow like to have, I think you'd refer to it as the responsibility in case something would go wrong and to be pointing the finger of accusation at him.
Ronnie wanted a new name for the band. It came from James Joyce's book Dubliners, which Luke Kelly happened to be reading at the time.
He just said, why don't we call it the Dubliners? Right. And that's how quick it was.
Oh, as I went home on Monday night, as drunk could
The song that gave the Dubliners their big breakthrough caused some local controversy.
I think there was probably a bit of an element of rebellion in everything we did, and her attitude was very much like, take us or leave us, this is the way we are.
Ah, you're drunk, you silly old fool, still you cannot see, that's a lovely sound.